Are you tired of only making square-shaped hangar doors to fit the pentashields? Well, then I got a little trick for you. In this Let's Build video for Dune Awakening, I will show a building technique that you can use to build pretty much any shape for your hangar door and still make it look great both from the in and outside while being covered by a pentashield. You can also use this trick to build large different shaped windows and cover those by pentashields, as well as making really nice patterns in your walls. As a bonus towards the end of the video, I will also show a little trick you can use to make patterns in the floor and a totally other unrelated trick that also is useful in some situations. Let's get started. This is the entrance to what will become my new base. You can already see here by looking for example at the detailing beside the stairs what it is all about, layering walls very close to each other. I will build throughout the video a somewhat simplified version of this building over here, showcasing all the techniques used. I have also made kind of a checkers pattern so that you can easily spot the dimension if you pause the video right here to follow along with the build. But let's start with the technicalities. It all boils down to having walls placed very close to each other. That means foundations that are offset by exactly one wall, like this. Fortunately, a triangle is exactly one wall less wide than a square. So if we build out like this, then the wall here from the triangle will overlap perfectly with the wall from the square. However, this wall is also shifted 50% towards the side, so if we would just bring tiles out here, a wall down and place a foundation, that one would also be shifted, and we don't want that. Fortunately, there is an easy way to solve it. The way you solve it is by placing a wall like this. And by the way, I have had people asking in comment section how to get an angle of 30-degree offset diagonally for walls, and this is how. If you have a triangle tile like this and you have placed a wall already, you will get both the 90-degree possibility to place a wall, and you can also place a wall like this, and then you have a 30-degree offset diagonally here. But anyway, let's remove this one. And we should place a triangle rooftop here. Now we can actually place a roof both here and at the middle. So if we place it at the middle and we bring a wall down, now we can place a foundation at that perfect offset by one wall wide. Now we need another foundation offset one more wall. And since one triangle was one wall offset, then two triangles are two walls offset. And this time we end up where we started, so we won't be offset towards the side, and we can just double back and place the foundation. And there we go. Now we use half walls to bring the structural support from the foundations out towards the sides to attach walls to them later below the floor. And I think this half wall is very good for that purpose because it has a low profile. Some other half walls will kind of glitch through the floor. Let's grab this one and start placing it outwards. I realized this was not really a great place for this foundation, since it might interfere with where I want to place foundations when we start working on the walls here. So I will actually move this one over here. Since I already brought the support structure out, I can just place another foundation over here, attached to the half wall, and now we can safely remove this one. We also need a half wall going out from this foundation over here. So it should look something like this when you are done. I will also add half walls here and on the other side over there, but this time with the same material that I use for the arc, because these ones will actually show on the outside of the buildings. We also need to add floor here, so let's do that. Or roof, but used as floor, like this. Going all the way out. And on the other side as well. And you can see what I meant here with some half walls kind of glitching through. We can clearly see it here. Let's start with the layer in the middle, and it is to this layer that we will later attach the Pentashield. Just go up and follow the shape of the first layer. The difference here is that we will have to leave a square formation in the middle. We can't really do anything about the shape of the Pentashield, but we can hide it. Now we can attach the Pentashield just like we would for any normal door. And it already looks good from the outside, and now we just need to fix the inside as well. And now we just need to use that last offset to create a shape that just mirror the outside, or rather the first layer of the door. We are done with the first part of the building, the curved hangar door covered with Pentashield that looks great both from the in and outside. And it's time to start with the walls. But before that, if you think that this video, up until this point at least, have helped you discover new ways of building in Dune Awakening, then clicking like and subscribe is a very simple way of helping me get more views. Anyway, let's continue. I have removed a bit of the floor here to make it easier to place the foundations that will offer support for the walls on the side, and we will use the same technique for those ones as we did for the front. The important thing here is that we will use the innermost wall here as a starting point for offsetting those foundations, and not the foundation already in place here, because if we use this foundation then the walls won't really fit when we start to layer them. So let's bring the walls out and place our first foundation. Now we need to offset this foundation just the same way we did for the front. Bring the wall down, and we can now place the first offset foundation. This foundation will now be offset by one wall from this one, and we need another one. We now have all the three offsets here as well. Now we just bring the walls out. It should look like this when you're done, and now we can put the floor back. I have built some kind of pattern here attached to the outermost layer of the wall, and now we can just add another layer with a different material on the inside. Since you have several attachment points, it can sometimes be tricky to get it to attach exactly where you want it to, but there we go. And now it looks like this from the outside. And since we have another row of supportive structures below, we can create another pattern on the inside. And now we just mirror this and do exactly the same thing here on the other side. You could substitute the middle section of the wall with pentashields to do different shaped windows. Just think about that you do need walls on either side of the pentashield to have something to attach it to, so it wouldn't be able to go all the way out here. Now it's time to start working on the roof, and you can use several different techniques, but one thing that I think is interesting is that you got three different attachment points here up on the wall. And you can attach both roof tile, well, technically this is an incline, but a roof tile in the outermost row and the innermost row. You cannot attach something in the middle as well because it will be too close and collide with, well, the outer and inner layer. But you could have, for example, one material on the outside of your roof and another material on the inside. Or you could use it to create a pattern on the roof with different inclines attached at different points, and then use wedge walls like this, and over here as well, and then on the inside as well. Unfortunately, the ramp here is too short to do the same type of detailing as I have done for the main base, but you can see here that I used the exact same technique for that as I did for the entrance and for the walls. Instead, let's move on to that pattern in the floor. So the patterns in the floor are actually extremely easy to do. Remember this half wall? It's great for doing hidden structural support below the floor because it has a low profile. Harkonnen, on the other hand, have a very high profile, so they stick up through some floor materials. So if I take the half rounded wall here and I place it below my floor like this and make a circle, it will stick up through the floorboards. Now we got this really nice pattern in the floor, and we can create different kind of patterns simply by placing half walls below the floor. So this is how it looks now, admittingly not as impressive as my original build over here, but also that one is just more of the same to create even more detail. I have one last thing to show you, just a little something for staying towards the very end of the video. And I know not everyone have use for this, but you can actually hide your character when taking a screenshot. You need to be either at your base or construct a temporary sub-feed for this. Because what you do is you build a wall and then you crouch up towards the wall with your back towards the wall, and when you get close enough the camera will actually jump in front of your character. So this is very useful for me, for example, when taking screenshots for a YouTube video to use as a thumbnail on a YouTube video. Well, that was everything. Cheers!